Hello and welcome to another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show, where this week it's just going to be me. Always love having guests on the show. There's so many tremendous coaches out there with so much knowledge. I always try to get as many good guests as possible. Haven't had much luck of late, so if you want to come on the show, I would absolutely love to have you. Like I said, we rely on the generosity of the tremendous coaches out there trying to further the coaching community with their expertise in various areas. We've had so many good coaches on, learned so much from so many of them, so really appreciative. This week, just going to be me. Going to talk a little bit. This episode was inspired. I was watching a video recently from the great Coach Tatum, who was talking about Veer Power read. And actually, about 10 years ago now, we have not run it much lately, but about 10 years ago, we had two quarterbacks in a row that were excellent at this particular play. So I have a lot of film on some Veer Power read. So I figured, why not hop on here? And if anybody can get anything out of the way we ran Veer Power read, and actually I've tried to install it recently. We've kind of gone back to more traditional power read, a little bit of the flip toss sweep power read that people are running on that as well. Ran a lot of Veer Power read in the 2015 and 2016 season and some other years leading up to where we are now. But thought there would be some good video on that. Maybe somebody would get something out of that. So we're going to get into that in just a moment. Want to take a little bit of time here to remind everybody the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show is brought to you by School Funder. School Funder, the only online fundraising company in America that lets you keep all of the money your team raises. Why do teams all across the country willingly give away 20% of their proceeds when they would never give away 20% of their wins? So call the good people at School Funder. You'll get to keep all the money your kids raise. All of it. And people often ask, how do you do that? Well, the reason they are able to do that, there's a small little processing fee. I think there's a tip button on there that people can help them out. But either way, that option is there, and you get to keep all of the money for your team. And I know in this time, and really, school budgets are tight. We are a completely self-sufficient program. We have to raise all our funds. Fortunately, we have a very generous community within our card sales and things like that we've done. And of course, the great people at School Funder that have helped us raise a number of money using this platform. So I'd encourage you to call them, or let them know at schoolfundr.org and let them know the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show sent you, as it will help the show. And while you're helping the show, hit subscribe right now. Viewership has been doing pretty well, I think. Excited about it. More and more people seem to be kind of picking up on the content and enjoying the great things coaches have to offer. But please hit subscribe right now. It helps us reach more coaches. The only goal of this show, so you know, is to reach more coaches, get more information out there to help the young coaches out there be able to garner information. The great part about, I think we kind of learned this in 2020, you don't have to travel all around everywhere. I do think there's incredible value in in-person clinics, but you can get a ton of information if you're just willing to go look for it. And that is our goal, to help grow the coaching community. So, like I said, this is not going to be a super long one, but I did want to talk some Veer Power read, whatever you want to call it. Traditional power read is you have the tailback running the sweep course, you have the quarterback as the inside player. If you're talking about why Veer Power read, I wanted to think about this. A lot of people don't really like to run their quarterback inside the tackles, obviously. You get your quarterback hurt, that can be a bad thing. We've done some of this stuff with traditional power read, where we even took a running back and taught him how to do it, and we did it with two running backs. Now, the issue with that, of course, little bit of a tell to the defense. Defense is probably going to know, hey, they're not really going to throw the football here. Not four verts is not coming. All right, but if you can run the Veer Power read, your quarterback is the outside runner. Your tailback, who is used to earning his money, getting his bread buttered inside the tackles, gets to keep doing what he's comfortable with. Your quarterback can pull the ball and get on the edge. It's a play that we were really able to have a lot of success with, and a play that I really enjoyed. We had a couple quarterbacks 2 years in a row that got really adept at running this play, and I think it was a lot of value for us. So I'm going to hop in here, show the screen real quick, and hop in here. I'm going to show you the how we do it on this particular Veer Power read here. All right, we like it against an even front, what I would call even split, 4-2-5, whatever you want to call it is fine. I love it against this. I do think, as you'll see in the video presentation here, of all the ways we ran it those years, we ran it against a number of different fronts, but this was the preferred look. Particularly, I like running it to the open side or a two-man surface if you get this look here. Just kind of like old school ISO was a great play against this. I love Veer Power read. You're getting your normal rules here on the play side. For us, center is man on, man away. If he has a man on and man away, we're going to call down, down, and we're going to go back. So man on, man away. He's blocking back here for this pulling guard. We're going to pick and hinge here on this side. Tight end can be here. You can do a number of different things with the tight end. You RPO guys could maybe run him on a pop or something if you wanted to. We're reading this side defensive end, so we didn't. We had him as just a part of the blocking scheme here on this particular side. All right, gap down backer, nothing in my gap, nothing on my buddy inside. Going to climb up here, always going to leave two. To what we call the biscuit in this case, we're always going to leave two. One man to kick or read, in this case read. One man to wrap on, which we're right here. Going to pull, as the great Coach Chip will tell you, tight to that rump line, getting up here, and we're going to hand this thing off. This, to me, another thing I like about it is if you don't have a particularly mobile quarterback, is this is a play that for me can be, I think it's really valuable if this is a give unless. You're going to give unless this guy slams on down here, tackles the dive back, then the quarterback's going to be out here really, really quick. We'll talk about it different ways. Don't like running it as much to a three-man surface. It kind of messes up the angle. Here, some of the key coaching points, I think, is what you got to clear the midline. So if I was playing quarterback here, teaching our quarterback, I would want to open left and clear that midline. If the tailback's in this pistol alignment, he's going to slide left and downhill. If he was inside, he's going to slip inside. All right, and dive down the center like a lot of people do with a lot of different schemes on this. Slide and dive, some people call it. From here, we're going to be right here. We're going to open, give that midline, get our eyes right here, right now. Reading this guy, and like I said, I like giving less. You say tight to this rump line, even if this guy here does a pretty good job and kind of stays here, you get down here, downhill, tight to the rump line, tell him he's got to run through an arm tackle, and you're in pretty good shape in most cases. You'll see a lot of plays where we ran this where we'll dress it up with motion, kind of distracting guys, getting some eye candy going, and we will head right downhill, right down the chute here on this play. A lot of different ways to word it. We've done the old school numbering system. That's incidentally, I should say, a side conversation that I find a bit interesting with teams. Guys get really obsessed with their language. I put it on here as blue clean. We don't use that terminology anymore. Clean as in power clean, so the line knows they're blocking power. Blue is in left. We don't use that anymore. We've actually used the old school numbering system at times where it's 25 clean or what have you, 23 clean. All right, where the two backs, the tailback. Really, I'll be honest, and because I've seen so much of this now, I don't think it matters. We've given it a name. We've done cities on the left, states on the right, all sorts of different things to communicate how we're going to run it. Coaches get obsessed with that. Kids are smart. Kids will learn it, in my opinion. I don't think that's as big a deal as people make it out to be, but there are some people that really get obsessed to this. I'm going to show you a couple versions of this from 2015, and then we're going to hop in because we are still in our season 3, which was Coach's Cut Up Corner, and I'm going to show you our cut-ups from 2015, which are all our this power read, Veer Power read, and it has some traditional power read mixed in there as well. But so you'll re-see these when we go through 2015, but this is two really good examples of it both ways, in my opinion here. All right, so what you're going to see. Okay, we're in here. We're in a little bit very similar formation. Tight ends over here. Okay, we're reading this guy. This is our read guy. We get that even split look. They walk up here to the tight end. All right, we're gap down backer. We're going to leave two always. One guy to read. We're going to guard. Love the skip pull by this guard. This guard did a really tremendous job as a skip puller. He was nice and tight to the rump line, stayed square the whole time, and right downhill. Left tackle's here. You're going to see this guy close it on down. Comes inside here, comes right here, down that heel line, boom, quarterback's out the gate, and we're good to go. Love this play, really effective football play in my opinion. Gonna hop over here to another version of it, and this is actually the very next play. Very next play, come back to it. I am not a super genius guy like some guys out there. If we run one play for 30, there's a pretty decent chance the next call is going to be that exact call. So we're in the same type of thing. They're really playing the tight end now here. Still in what I would call an even split here. This guy's in a 2 or a 1 technique here. You got what everybody in America calls a 5, what I would call a 6 technique. Outside of the tackle, got your backer here. Walk up a guy here, walk up a guy here. And because of this, we widen the formation a little bit. That's the read guy still. He's sitting there. And let's see if the quarterback, I don't think he did a great job clearing the midline, but for the most part, did a pretty good job clearing that midline here. Opens left. Probably could have opened a little bit more, I would say. I love this pull. He's nice and square here. Really in a good position. He's right downhill. That guy stays there. We get what I like to call a 2-for-1 here. And I love how tight to the rump line the guard is and how tight the tailback is. This kid was a great kid. His dad was my defensive coordinator when I took this job at Post and Butte High School. Just a great guy. We've had him on the show. Dane Thompson, son Tyler here, into coaching now. Just a great, great kid and a hard downhill runner. You'll see him. He was a really did a good job with this play. And like I said, doesn't have to be necessarily a bell cow type of running back, in my opinion, for this play. Very similar to, like I said, that's why it's called, a lot of people refer to it as Veer Power read, because you get that veer element. I will say this, it doesn't hit as quickly as some of those under center veer teams that you'll see do some things, but it's been a really good play for us. Gonna hop in now and go down here and look at some of the way we ran this particular play. I'm going to actually work backwards. I'm going to show you the 2016 clips, and we will show you the 2015 clips because we did some different things in different years with this. Going to see this. This is the same thing we just watched. Boom, that guy closes down. Tailback's out the gate there, and we're in good shape here. Going on to the next one here, same thing. We already saw this one, so you're going to get another read of it. This guy's waiting here. Hoping the quarterback pulls the ball. In this case, we get a nice 2-for-1. Nice, good job on the pull, being nice and tight, and we're in good position. Like I said, this will be mixed in with a few traditional power reads, but I really like this particularly if you do not have a real big quarterback that you want to run inside the tackles. You don't have the Tim Tebow, Cam Newton type of guy, and you want him to be able to run out here on the perimeter. Some other things we did to it that you'll see, we add a fast screen to it where it ends up being a triple option look out here. Obviously, you could do that where you're reading this guy. If he does pull it, he gets out here. His eyes are going to flip to here. I like the outside, what we used to call a Spartan screen, where he's going to block the corner. This guy's one step, and then he's going to this secondary read here if you want to do some triple option stuff. We ran this and got to this year with triple option, and I'll tell you, we ran this a lot. This was a big concept for us, and we got to the triple option phase of it only one time, but it was a huge play. It was 4th and 4. We ran this play. This guy closed it down hard. This guy shot up here to the quarterback. We threw out here on the Spartan, got a good block in the corner, and got a first down there on 4th and 4. So it wasn't something that we got to that third option a lot, but when we did, it was really critical. Again, love that pull. I think quarterback did a nice job here reading it. Let's see this defensive end. He closes down, tackles the dive back, and we're outside. Good football for you gap scheme guys. It's a gap scheme play all the way. Really good gap scheme football. Here it is again, and I swear to you, we ran it against other teams. It was a big part of the game plan here because of that even split. Gets into the end zone here. Probably may have been able to give it here because this guy at the last second, I think that's a good read. He gets out there in the end zone here. All right, we're down. Good combo. Boom. Quarterback pulls the ball and gets his way into the end zone. Really a play that was really successful for us. Here it is in a tray set. We got tight end trips out here. This is one of those teams they're playing, again, liked it to an even front. We're going to combo here. I think we may have, because this guy was so tight, end up eating up this play side backer, or the fish linebacker, the front side linebacker as we call him. And didn't get over here to the biscuit, but this guy slides, has a nice aiming point right here. Again, this particular, what I still would call an even split, because you got an even front, you got split backers. They walk up one backer here, really playing the tight end side here in this instance. So kind of open things up on the back side. Love how tight the guard is to the rump line. Nice and tight, leading up. And we head right downhill. Quarterback does a nice job, pops it out the gate. Good, as my old coach Mike Clark used to say, cutting the weak arm there from the running back, gets tripped up right at the 1 yard line. But again, really good football play for guys. You have some guys that'll run downhill hard, get after it a little bit. This is a traditional power read. This is against William Field High School, who that year won the state championship. Really talented team. This is your more traditional power read where you're going to get the sweep course, still getting power blocking here. We're going to pull, lead up on the fish. We're going to combo to the biscuit, gap down linebacker. Tailback does a good job running the sweep course. All right, pulls it. Oh, gets out the gate there for a good gain against a team that I'll be honest with you, there were not many good gains that night. They were the state champions, and we had taken over a program that was a little bit down at the time. They had been 0-10 the year before. First year here, we're able to do some really good things, scored a fair amount of points. I think we averaged 33 or 34 points a game. First year back at this school, the first year I was at this school, then I ended up going back to Prescott. But here it is in trips. Going to see some more Veer Power read here. Love that. Quarterback does a nice job. They do, and obviously this is a well-coached team. This guy I think he might have been able to give it there. All right. But end up with this backer doing what he's supposed to do, kind of scraping over the top. But a good job by that puller. Ends up there, and the quarterback still gets a good 5-6 yard gain. Like I said, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly here. All right, this is all our cut-ups from the season here. This is us running against 2x2. Does not take you long. You don't have to be a football expert to determine immediately. There's 7 guys in the box. Probably not a good play. We only got, even if we can read a guy, 6 guys here. We got a Spartan screen or a fast screen attached to it here, where we should be blocking out here on the corner. This guy's running the fast screen. But if we're following our rules, all right, we're going to leave the end man on the line. In this case, this is outside backer. So we should get an ace over here. I don't know if we ended up down in it because this guy's showing blitz here. But we could, if he was not blitzing, get an ace here. We should be really, and this is where the problem lies in with this, is this guy's responsible for the B gap by gap down linebacker rules. It's a tough time blocking this guy if he's head up and taking the B gap here. Fortunately, we get a great pull. This guy ends up fighting outside. We read this guy. He clearly comes up the field, so it's a good read by the quarterback, but even able to pop this against 7 guys in the box there, and they're coming straight downhill. Our guys did a good job on that. Really, another really nice pull by this guard here. He did an excellent job. Doesn't even really get any piece of him, but he's so tight to everything. And key coaching point, I believe, like we teach our guys in power and counter, we want to be inside hip of the second puller. This is a really good example of us being inside hip of the second puller. This guy doesn't even hit the pulling guard, who's in great position, doesn't even really make contact with this backer, but because the tailback's inside hip of the second puller, he's still able to pop it for a really big gain. said, this was a really good play for us. You're going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly on this one. Ran this play a lot. Same type of thing. Now, all right, now we'll talk about it here. And man, this guy's out here splitting the difference. So now our Emel's right here. Let's see if we do it right or if we just block him. It's been a while. He did just block him there. Quarterback just gave it. Head downhill on the power read there, the Veer Power read style. And as you can see, we got this Spartan or fast screen attached to it. You could get out there to that fast screen element. Love the hustle by the receiver. He's not supposed to come inside. It's not a tunnel screen. It's a fast screen into it, but he's trying to get into the party there. Tied it here. He just decided, for whatever reason, he wanted to throw this one out here because it's cover 0. Gets it out there. Boom. 5-6 yards. We'll take it. Good stuff. Another, again, that backer fits it outside. The guard is so tight on his skip pull. We end up with a really successful play. Here it is again. Same thing, I swear. Ran it in more than a couple games. I'm going to get here. But like I said, this is the good, the bad, the ugly. We ran this a lot. Okay, ran this a lot that season. This quarterback, we had a couple quarterbacks. Both of them were solid quarterbacks, not exactly maybe gunslingers, but good dual threat kids. This ended up being a really successful play. This young man was a good, very capable runner, but not super big, probably 145, 150 pounds. So it was a really good play because instead of traditional power read, we could have him as the perimeter runner. Right in there, good job reading it. 4 or 5 yard gain. Again, good 10 personnel play, good 11 personnel play. Kind of got stuff there a little bit, but still not a terrible play. And like I said, this is all of it. We ran this play a lot. Here you're going to see your more traditional power read out of an empty with the tight end. Love this formation, incidentally. You get tight end empty with trips over here. So it's going to precipitate some type of reaction from the defense. Then we fly a guy in motion, and we're running your more traditional power read in this instance. All right, guard obviously, first year in the system. Guard obviously shouldn't have blocked here, should have stayed square and let up. Didn't do it quite as well as the other guard. Ends up kicking this guy out. We're not doing that. That's the read guy. He should be there. He'd have been an extra guy in there. Quarterback wouldn't have taken that shot. And that, to me, is the part why this Veer Power read can be such a valuable tool for you if you don't want to get your quarterback hit. Because that was a good 7-8 yard play, but quarterback took a shot there at the end. Here it is, Veer Power read. Read guy sticks his nose in there. Quarterback gets out there on the edge, and he gets tackled there too, but not inside the tackles. Has a chance to protect himself a little bit. Formation that everybody loves now. Little nub trips formation that people really love. I wanted to point this out because the defense plays this pretty well. All right, we get a combo here. We're right up here. The guard's nice and tight. This guy could have been a pull. They're playing straight man here, so they're trying to get the numbers back because we had the quarterback hit some runs. They're trying to get the numbers back, which cover 0. Usually the defense can do that. But the tailback is so tight to the rump line. Does such a good job here that he ends up squeezing it in here. This is, look at this here. This is the guard, as you can see. Guard leading up. This is the rump line right here. The guard is nice and tight to that rump line, and the tailback is inside hip of the second puller. This is not a huge crease to run through, but because we're following our rules, he's inside hip of the second puller. He's tight to the rump line, doing all those things. Boom, tailback squirts out of there for a big run against a really pretty dang good team. Hit there at the end and gets in the end zone. Love it. Really well executed football play. All right, here it is again. Out of this nub trips everybody seems to love now. This is from 2015. Defensive end or end man on the line gets a little nosy. Quarterback gets out there, 3rd and 4, gets a first down. Really versatile, I think. Again, nice job on the square pull there, or the skip pull by the guard. Nice and tight, staying tight to that rump line. That guy gets the tackle down, and he's here. The other thing I down is you guys that run a lot of gap scheme, these guys get good at squeezing those. And now, boom, we're out the gate on Veer Power read out here. Really good looking football play. Here it is against trips again. Let's see what happened here. We're running it to the trip side. Again, guard should not be kicking this guy out. Probably think this is a trap. It's not. All right, we should be leading up on that backer there that makes the tackle. So a little mistake there, which like we talked about, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly from this season. This is every different way we ran this for the entire course of the 2015 season. Pulls the ball here and kind of follows. That defensive end stayed in tight. I think he saw this guy creeping. These guys got better at playing it. He was going to play the dive. He was going to be out here. Even in that case, you have an athletic quarterback. He can make a move out here. He has a chance. I actually like the way the quarterback played this. I would love to say we coached that up. We didn't. I think he does a nice job. Ends up with really a guard and a tailback because he kind of follows at the point of attack. I like this too. You can start adding some window dressing to it with this fly jet motion. All right, we're reading this guy right here. He's getting a little nosy. Quarterback pulls the ball and gets on the edge. Good looking football play here. And he gets out of bounds, doesn't get touched. Gets kind of pushed there at the end. Again, you don't have the biggest quarterback. It's a really neat way, I think, to get him involved here. Here it is again with the little Spartan screen attached to it. And the quarterback does a nice job. They're kind of playing the play here. They got two guys off the edge. One guy trying to come in there and tackle the dive back. One guy out here for the quarterback. So the quarterback does a nice job following it. Kid just had a really good feel for this play. Really, really good feel. And like you can see here, like I said, this is not the highlight cut-ups. This is all the different ways we ran it. I probably should have stayed vertical there. Would have gotten a better gain out of it. But he had a really nice feel for this play. And as all you good coaches out there know, you got to do what your kids are good at. Okay, nothing spectacular here. We got a fast screen attached to it. All right, so if we pull it, we got a chance to get out here and throw the fast screen. The other thing I like about this is we add a little zip motion, not anything wild, just a little window dressing. We had a tendency to run this little zip motion to run some type of sprint out pass. So add that in. I think that was a good decision. 4 or 5 yard gain. This was against a pretty good team, ended up getting in the playoffs that year. Good chance to pick it up there. Guard starts doing it a little better here. I think we probably could have given this. I think he runs through the arm tackle if we give this, but they're not always going to be perfect reads, and I think we got a chance. I don't know if I'd have pulled that one. He does. Like I said, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly here from it. All right, this is more traditional power read out of two tight end empty. Great formation if you got the personnel to do it. Love some two tight end empty. We arc block here from the tight end out here to the alley. We're reading the end man on the line. Okay, deucing in here. Good power blocking. Gap down linebacker. A little late on the snap point, but a nice job by the quarterback. Hits that thing downhill. Good looking football play. Like I said, these are a little more of traditional power read. And this, as you can see, we had two quarterbacks. This was kind of the bigger quarterback this year. We had a tendency to run that more inside power read with this young man, a little bigger player, and we ran the other Veer Power read with the smaller quarterback. Ended up being a really successful way. The great part about that is it added nothing new, absolutely nothing new for our offensive linemen. They're blocking power. They're blocking a base play that they already run particularly well. Arc out here, pulls it, gets down inside. Love it. Good looking football play. Couple more examples with the little zip motion. We got the Spartan out here, and actually this is the one I was talking about. I lied. We ran it more than once because we definitely completed it on a 4th down, but this is us getting to the 3rd element of it. We got the short motion here. This is the read part. This is the Veer Power triple. All right, Veer Power triple here, downhill. All right, I personally think he could have just given that. I think he could have just given that. He decides to pull it. This now becomes the secondary read on this. All right, that guy's out there. I think if they'd have gotten a bigger split, that guy that he read wouldn't have been able to get in the tackle. Our split's too tight here. If we're out here a little bit further, now it really forces this guy, and this guy might be able to make a really big play out of it. We only end up getting 6 out of here. If we have a better split, I do a better job coaching that up. This has got a chance to be a really big play. If he's catching this out here and this guy's blocking, this guy has a lot further to run, and we really got a chance to make a big play. Either way, it's 4 or 5 yards, so I like 4 or 5 yard plays. Those are good. Right here, you see it again. Again, we run it out of here with the trips look. I like that I think he wanted to pull this because he saw our numbers out here. And you could also, obviously, just have him give the tailback a little call and say, hey, if you like the numbers out here, got an off corner, got a safety at 10, 12 yards, say, heck, tailback go the other way, just sling it out here. That's fine, too. He decides to read it. That guy comes down. He gets out here, and he could very easily throw this screen right here. And we got a lead blocker. We got 2 lead blockers. I guess he just figures, what the heck, I'll run it. And he gets tripped up there on the backside. We need to do a better job. Coach Chip does such a good job coaching up the backside hinge. I did not here, and this is because this is going to be a huge play if I coach this up. Step back and hinge. Step back and hinge. If we do that, see so many times, so frustrating for line coaches. This guy on the backside ends up tripping us up. All we got to do is step inside, nothing, no threat to the B gap, hinge it back, and we have a really big play here. This guy's able to chase it down, and what should be, maybe a 15, 20 yard gain ends up being about a 5 or 6 yard gain. Here's your more traditional power read. Again, the read right there. Quarterback downhill right now. Love some quarterback empty. Good hard run by the kid. This is just good football. Again, like that read. Gets inside there, has a good read. All right, here it is. Right there. I think he probably could have pulled this one. It's a really well-coached team here. All right. But like I said, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is everything, and we're back to the start. Every single way we ran it that 2016 season. But I promised I'm going to show you some of it in the 2015 season. All right, and we're going to make sure we get all of them here, not the best of, but all of them, so you can kind of see it in good, bad, and ugly here. Like I said, I really like it with this jet motion, some nice eye candy here. Here's our Emil. We're blocking down, want to stay nice and tight here on the Veer Power read. You get the good read there. All right, maybe could have pulled this one. This guy here. You know what? I don't really have an issue with that read. I think it was a decent read. They do a good job playing it here. But again, 1 to 2, 1.5, 2 yards. I think those TFLs are really what ends up being drive killers. All right, good job by their D tackle here. Kind of stoned us. We climbed way too early on our combo, which is why some people prefer the right gap down backer. We work combos every day because here, this is an example of a little bit of freeze tag. We get up there too quick and don't do it well. These guys ended up being great comboers, and they were really good at it. Kind of climb a little too early here, and we get stoned on this play. Here's an example of it later in the game. Love the trips. I heard a good coach tell me once that a good fake is worth two blocks, and I think you'll see it right here. Great job this. Carries, keeps these guys on the backside. We do a great job on the play side. This guy climbs the backer, pancakes this guy. Excellent football. Guard does a really nice job here, staying nice and tight on the square pull. Good job by a down block here by the left guard. Good looking football play. Love it. You see that? Holds that. Boom. Nobody even touches 30. All right, but we hold him with that good fake. Our left tackle has a nice job there. That kid scoots right downhill for a big gain. This good 5-yard run. I like 5-yard runs. This guy's kind of playing the quarterback here. We add it with that element, and we're good to go. Here's another example of it with that motion. Love it with that fly motion. Tailback, really athletic play. This guy kind of submarined it, ends up hopping over there, and gets his way into the end zone. Good looking football play here. Another good job by the running back here. This was a really, for this 2015-2016 season, this Veer Power read was really our top 10 personnel play. We were not a big inside zone team, so we ran this a lot because this was a really nice complement. You could get in 10 personnel, and a lot of times we're in 10 personnel. We run a lot of quick game, different stuff. This became a run that was really big for us those seasons. Honestly, I don't know if I haven't coached as well. We have not been able, and probably haven't committed to it, because anything you're going to do, you got to really commit to getting good at it. And we did that these 2 seasons. I probably haven't committed to it as much because we were a little bit more of a big power team then, and we've become a really big counter team. Probably counter's been our top play for probably the last 7 or 8 years. So when you do that, there's certain things that are going to fall by the wayside a little bit. Good job by the quarterback pulling the ball. Like I said, ended up being a real good play. We got some backups in here at this point, so we're blocking the end. We shouldn't be. Yeah, we're blocking the end here. Like I said, this is the cut-ups everyone. So we got a lead in this one, so we got some of our second team guys in there, and they're obviously not doing it quite as well, not really blocking it quite as well, but those guys deserve to play too. So let's see it right here. All right, we're still blocking that defensive end, but the quarterback does a good job pulling the ball here. Like I said, this is the cut-up version. This is an element we added to it that I really, really liked. If you have an H-back that's a good athlete, we'd motion him into the backfield, whatever you want to call him. And now we're still reading this. We're sneaking this guy out here to do one of two things. You can have these guys stalk and run him into the flat. So now it becomes a pull and a possibility to throw it out here. A lot of teams are really doing this. Or you arc this guy in the flat to take this alley player should the quarterback decide to pull the ball. Gives it, which I think is a good read. I think the guard could have been a teeny bit tighter to the rump line here. All right, but either way, pretty good looking football. Again, motion him into the backfield, and we're downhill. Block the defensive end on that one, unfortunately. Love this set. If you guys don't toy around with double tight empty, really good stuff here. Double tight empty with trips in here. That's a lot of gaps. That's 8 run gaps and trips. If you have a versatile running mobile quarterback, this is, I think, maybe the best set you can possibly be in. All right. Maybe could have pulled that one. I think he does pulling it a little later here. Boom, pulls it, gets downhill. That's obviously your more traditional power read. More, like I said, this is all our cut-ups of different ways we ran power. We get kind of stoned on this one. All right, we're blocking it down. Boom, this was a mud bowl against our rivals. It rained all that week. Packed house on hand. Ended up winning this one 30-30, but they stone us on this one there on second down. But like I said, this is all of them. This is everything. Traditional power read here. And the way we should be doing it, not a very good combo, but the way we should be doing it, we're reading the correct guy. All right, the fullback could have even gone further and gone outside of him. This is all the ways we ran it. That's your traditional power read. Let's get into a few more of what we've been talking about, all on this, which is our Veer Power Read stuff. And here's traditional, might even been power there. All right, obviously a lot of different ways to mix it up. Want to get to some more of what we talked about, Veer Power Read here. Love it with this nub trip set. We get the motion here. We're running it with the tailback. And see if we have the right read here. All right, guard's got not be kicking this guy leading up here. That'll happen. Sometimes that'll happen, but not a great play. Maybe a gain of 1 here, but was a really, really good play. Loved this version of it where we bring this guy into the backfield. And then, like I said, there's a lot of different things you can do. You can sneak this guy out into the flat on the read. You can have these guys out here stalking, or he can block the alley player for the quarterback run if he pulls it. Let's watch this defensive end. Coconino, gotta love him, have that well-placed pull like a lot of the old school stadiums did. Down block, love the give. Good job heading downhill. Good looking football play. Here it is again. I like the read. That guy takes those steps upfield, get it downhill. Not a huge gain there, but that's okay. Positive football play. It sets it up here where, boom, he gets greedy. Comes down inside here. I think in this case, where this guy's out here stalking, this guy's taught to run this at the line of scrimmage. So he could throw it. All right, but the quarterback gets out here. That defensive end so aggressive on tackling it. He says, the heck with it. I'm getting in the end zone, and he does. Love it here. Like I said, this was a big play. Veer Power Read was a really big play for us. Haven't kind of majored in it as much, but you guys that love power don't maybe have the big bruiser quarterback, but have a quarterback that's traditional power read. Don't have that big bruiser quarterback, but have a guy that's a pretty good athlete that can get on the edge. I'd highly recommend getting this play in. It's a good football play. They line up. We're a pretty fast-paced tempo team in 2015. Not sure where this defensive end lined up because it sure looks like, don't have the end zone copy on this one, unfortunately. Sure looks like he is inside, so the guard blocks him, so the quarterback says, what the heck? I'm pulling the ball. And hard to argue. He gets out there. Big gain into the end zone for a touchdown. All right, a lot of good stuff in here. All sorts of different ways. Snap point wasn't very good there. But like I said, this is every way we ran it for this season with one block. So this is the first game of the season that season, so definitely not running it great here. But good stuff as a football play. Has been a really good play for us. Gonna hop out of here and stop sharing. Go on back over to here. Hopefully you got something out of that. Like I said, I saw Coach Tatum post some stuff on Veer Power, and I said, hey, that used to be a big part of our package. Maybe this can offer something to somebody, maybe and give somebody stoking some ideas here in the off season. Like I said, the only goal of the show is to help coaches get out there, get more knowledge. We always rely on great knowledge from other coaches. Unfortunately, today you had to listen to me. Hopefully, you got something out of that Veer Power Read stuff there. And please subscribe to the show, and we will definitely see you next time, where hopefully we'll have a guest back ready to talk some more football with our great guests and talk some ball. If we don't, then I'll pick a subject because I am going to always try to get something out there, even if it's a little tidbit. We're going to be starting pretty soon here towards the end of March, early April, starting to do some stuff where we do some practice planning as guys are heading in to spring football. I'd love to have some head coaches on. So many incredibly knowledgeable head coaches out there. Love to have some head coaches on to talk some practice planning, kind of talk about how they do it. There's so many coaches that are so smart and so efficient with their use of time that I would love to have any of you on. If you want to be on, please contact me. Cody.Collett, that's Cody.Collett at PrescottSchools.com. Really hope you got something out of this Veer Power Read, and we'll see you next time for another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show. Thanks.